Greetings, Smackers. I'm Luna, aka Subi.
And of course, I'm Mike, and this is a very special Christmas edition of Cosmic Levels, your interview program where we talk to the creative people, the business people who may not be as heralded as some of the ones that you're used to, but we know that they have something to say. We thank all our viewers for support thus far, and just to let you know that we're going to be coming at you with even more good stuff. But today, we want to do things a little bit different, and of course, I'm going to throw to Luna to do this special interview. We're going to flip the script. So I'm going to be facing the questions, and hopefully, you'll learn a little something about the both of us. So, Luna, take it away.
Thank you, Cosmic. All right, so everyone out there in Cosmic Land, we, as you know, we interview people with great talent and visions and stuff. So I wanted to change it up a bit, this episode, so we can speak to the creator actually, and see where all of this talent came from, and how it started, and why it started, and what he has planned for the future. So, Cosmic, why did you start writing?
Well, I started writing really because I started reading. So, I mean, the real crucial thing that a lot of people take for granted is that you can be a great.
Oh my god, I'm not doing this again. I'm not doing this again. So, Cosmic, why did you become a writer?
Right. So I became a writer primarily because I was always into books. I was always reading. A
Mhm.
thing that a lot of people take for granted is that to become a great writer, you really have to start by being a great reader. And from my very earliest days of childhood that I can remember, I always loved finding out about things. I always loved to be into books, be into music, be into ideas generally. So I knew fairly early on that I was going to be involved in this field in some way. What I didn't really know is the route, is that how I was actually going to get from the desire to practically doing it. I
Mhm.
can remember too, in fourth form at Campion College, Ready Strong, that we had a little session with our guidance counselor, like out in the open,
Mhm.
the whole class, and people were asked, well, what is it that you really want to do with your life? What you want to be when you grow up and blah. And everybody, this you must keep in mind, dating ourselves, was the beginning of the personal computer age,
Mhm.
the early 80s, really 81, 82. And lots of people are now getting into deciding to become computer programmers and to do software, and other people, of course, want to do the traditional lawyer, doctor, etc., etc. And in the midst of all that chorus of conventional career choices, I piped up and said, "I'm going to be a writer." Uh, Classic crickets moment.
Oh, oh. Oh
And
no.
even the guidance counselor looked a little bit surprised. I was like, "Who the hell wants to do that?" But I said it, and for some reason, I just meant it then, and it stuck. Even though I didn't take the conventional route into writing, I did go to university, up at the University of the West Indies,
Mhm.
but I did a linguistics course
Mm.
essentially,
Mhm.
and from then on, I didn't actually complete a course because I was also working full time at the time, and things got a little bit jumbled, and I
Life
just
became life, then
life became,
basically.
yeah, life happened.
Life happened.
So I decided to kind of flow with the punches, and ended up working in different fields. I was stores clerk at the aircraft hangar at the Norman Manley International Airport.
Mhm.
That's a whole book in itself. And I was also a guest telephone operator at the Wyndham Hotel. I'm locked in a room with a massive operator board with 400 different buttons for the different rooms, and yeah, all kind of stuff. I was a foot courier in New Kingston,
Oh wow.
yeah, for DHL. Those were some days, boy. And I did a lot of different jobs, and then in the meantime, somewhere around the early 90s, it dawned on me that maybe I could try and make some kind of commercial aspect of this thing.
Mhm.
And I was fortunate to meet a number of great ladies in different circumstances and times who kind of got me into working in the what is called a corporate PR field. First one, really and truly, it was Jean Laurichin.
Oh wow.
Salute to Jean Laurichin of what is now Procom, but
Go
back then was
program.
just called PRO Limited.
Mhm.
Um, what I'd done, I'd actually started a writers group because we're figuring, we're going to meet and conquer the world and churn out great writers and blah, blah, blah. Didn't quite work out that way. But we did do a newsletter. And for the first issue of that newsletter, I interviewed Barbara Gludon, the late Barbara Gludon, RIP, who somebody I had known and talked with and admired. And she consented to sit with me, and we did this interview and produced a newsletter. And Gene Martin got a copy, and I got contacted. And from that, well, chat and interview, and I started out working in the PR field, in and out, going to different assignments. I also got a lot of boost from another legend in the PR business, Carmen Tippling, who, along with Eunice Bent and Beverly Newell, great, great ladies, and also Beryl Francis to a lesser extent. Um, Great, also great, not lesser great, but lesser involvement with me. So, really helped to burnish my writing credentials and get me really experienced in a number of different capacities as a quote unquote adjunct journalist. It's really in that time that I discovered that I had a love for interviewing people and for writing what we generally at that time called personality profiles.
Mhm.
And uh, that I did quite a lot of those, and also big up to Angela Thame of what was then TTP Limited, who actually got me started in TV.
Whoop whoop.
But I wasn't on screen at the time. I was basically writing and preparing interviews for Ronnie Thwaites for a program that we called Thwaites and Company. That was kind of one of the last original uh, local developed shows under the old JBC, which was kind of transitioning into what they horribly called Super Supreme TV. Yeah, less said about that, the better.
Uh,
But yeah, it was one
forgive
of
him.
the last kind of outings of the transitional form
Hmm.
that now became TVJ. And we had two terrific seasons of that program. We interviewed some big, big, big name people. Johnny Cochran, who was a defense attorney for O.J. Simpson.
Mm.
Um,
Okay.
Reverend Farrakhan,
Mhm.
head of the Nation of Islam. Um, Ed Gordon, who many people here may not necessarily recognize immediately, but Ed Gordon is the journalist for BET Networks at the time who actually got the scoop on O.J. Simpson, the first media interview, sit-down interview that he did after the verdict. So big up Ed Gordon, who I still have a link with via social media today, and great people. I didn't actually do that interview or any of
Right.
those interviews, but we sort of did the preparation and put the facts together and make it, into a story that, of course, Mr. Ronnie Thwaites, big up Mr. Thwaites, who was a host, could follow. Some interesting side notes there too. We were actually scheduled to interview Brian Lara on the program,
Mhm.
but Mr. Lara kind of had other important things to do, like reportedly play golf, and stiffed us. So
Well, golf is important.
yeah,
So what?
so just want to get a diggy there at Mr. Lara, wherever you may be. You'll never be in my good books, although you're a great cricketer.
Ah.
But yeah, that stuff. Anyway,
Oh my gosh.
so all of those things, as we gathered experience, kind of led me to the realization that as long as I was just writing alone, I would forever be broke.
Oh.
Because really and truly, the only people in media who make money are the people who own the media.
Mm.
So I was kind of trying to find ways to think of how we could actually create a media channel for, of my own.
Mhm.
And went through various hiccups with this, that, and the other thing, how to really do it. Did magazines, a print thing, it was still relevant and still is relevant in a very narrow belt.
Mm-hmm.
But back then, we could still kind of try to make money from magazines. We had some hiccups, some things that went wrong. We launched a title two
So
weeks before a hurricane. So of course, after the hurricane, it ain't nobody want to see no proposal or presentation on no magazine
mm-hmm.
that's untested. So we had to scrap that.
Mm-hmm.
And went through various iterations, got involved in doing radio. Big up to Maurice Foster and the Paul 106 crew, Dwight Fraser, Richard, McClarty, Floyd, big up Floyd, and got into doing um, contributions to a number of sports broadcasts. And primarily, we cover the Super Bowl every year for like about 6 years now. We
Mm-hmm.
didn't quite do it this past year, but
No, I
we
don't
had a
think we
lot
did.
of fun doing that
Mm-hmm.
in consecutive years. And kind of just over time became what people would call a well-rounded media person. So, but the key was we were trying to figure out how can we really take a little more control over this process. Enter YouTube, and first of all, enter this lovely lady right here with all her panache and yeah. So we kind of knocked our heads together, and I had a love for interviewing, but we didn't actually quite get into right away though because I
No,
was
we
doing
didn't.
more one person, my rants and raves and
Yes.
opinions, which of course you have seen
Which
now,
birth Cosmic Smack?
right? Which birth Cosmic Smack, which you have supported. Thank you so much, Smackers. Keep spreading the word, keep getting around, and we decided just by kind of looking amongst our contacts and our friends list that hey, maybe nice to talk to this person or that person.
Oh, that one.
And we started with Phoenix,
Mm-hmm.
reggae artist and producer. Big up Phoenix, Otaguan. And we then moved on to Justin Hadid on, and who's I think still abroad.
Yes, he
Yes,
is.
still trapping the boards, stripping the boards
Mm-hmm.
in the US. And we just kind of kept it going from there, and we've done 6
Yeah.
thus far. The most recent one being selector and sound system veteran Newton Lee, aka Johnny Ringo, Chinese assassin. You can check that one out on our channel.
Which will also have a second, a part two to
Yeah,
that,
right.
because that was done on
Zoom.
Zoom, so it was a had a little
Few
nicks,
little hiccups,
hiccups, which
but it's
we
still
couldn't
overall
fix, but it
great
was really a
content.
great content, and it was really
And
awesome to listen to where he came from
right,
as well.
yeah.
So
And him being like me, a veteran of the old Air Jamaica hangar. And it was nice to reconnect. And really, the vibe of what we try to do here is it's not necessarily that we all only want to talk to friends, because if you do that, then you're kind of limited. But we want to be able to have some sense of, a connection
mhm,
with the people that we feature,
mhm.
so that there is not just a blah, well, tell us about how you started. And,
Yeah.
we want people to realize that there is great value in hearing of the experiences and the contributions of others and how they come about doing what they're doing and why. As Luna started out in the intro, want to hear why these things happen and what's the value. And that's what we bring to you. And that's where
So
we are.
so Cosmic, tell me something. While you were working of all these various jobs
Hmm.
that you had, did you get a lot of inspiration with your writing? Were you able to actually sit and write, or was it that you wrote on downtime, or is it something that something happened and you wrote it down, it came to you right away? How did you manage to balance, and how did you get the paper, the words to paper?
So it was kind of all of the above. But initially, it was during downtime.
Mm-hmm.
Because, of course, with most of my early jobs, they were on a shift basis, so
Mm-hmm.
including night shifts.
Mm.
Well, we had some real graveyard stories.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really on the times when I was not actually at work, for one. And
Mm-hmm.
then also, I like to, and I still try to do it a little bit. With the phones have kind of usurped everything, but
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like to have a little notebook with me at all times
Mm-hmm.
where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff happens, you just make a little note,
Mm.
and then it's the idea that you can expand on at another time. So initially, believe it or not,
Mm.
some folks are about to be blown away with this. You may never even have heard of this, or younger viewers.
Mhm.
I had an actual typewriter. A typewriter? Yes, that clickety clack clack clicking. Ping! Yes.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I started out on an actual royal typewriter. Only God knows where that thing is now. And
In a graveyard.
yeah, it is. Rest in peace, Royal. Yeah. So um, moved on from there, but I still did a lot of writing by hand, and then got it transferred onto computer because it wasn't as ubiquitous to have a computer in those days.
Mhm.
Um, Also, at various offices that I worked,
Right.
put in
Sneaking
a
a
little
little
little half hour here and there, and
tippity
yeah,
tap tap.
yeah. Um, and jump drives didn't come along until after. See, you have these gray hairs for a reason, right? So you had to kind of do stuff. Thankfully, email helped and still does. I
Mm.
do try to store some of my other creative stuff, especially the poetry collections. 13 poetry books on Amazon. Michael A.D. Edwards.
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah,
You beat me to it.
we're going there. So try to keep stuff on email and whatever was available to us without too much of an investment. That's really what it boiled down to.
Has there been any backlash from any of your friends or family where it says, um why are you doing that? Why can't you do something, become a lawyer or a doctor or, a politician? Have you had any negative feedbacks over the years as being a writer editor?
Not outright.
Mm-hmm.
And let me explain what I mean by that. Because, I mean, first of all, um, God rest her soul, my recently departed mother, was very, very encouraging in one way, but she also had the thing about, well, why don't you go and finish the degree? And why don't you do that? Why don't you do that? Why don't you do that?
Mm-hmm.
And she meant well.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the place where we're going to get into any
No, no, no,
negativity.
no, no, no.
But people would kind of look at it. They're like you buck up an associate, somebody you may have not seen for a couple of months or even a year or two. And say, oh, so you're still doing that writing thing? So the
Mm-hmm.
writing thing
Mm-hmm.
is sort of like their way of encapsulating it. I don't really know what you do, and I don't know how the hell you do it,
And why
but
you do it? Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess you must be doing it.
yeah, yeah.
So you'd get those, and I mean, the fact is, I remember too when I was working at the Observer, and I'd encounter other people, and they say, "So what do you do?" Blah. I say, "Well, I'm a writer," and so they say, "Well, what is that?" So I then go into the explanation of,
Mm-hmm.
we
Mm-hmm.
talk to people, we sit down, we put
Mm-hmm.
stories together,
Mm-hmm.
and then after going all through the explanation, people say, "So what do you do?"
Even after all of that.
Yeah. So
So what do you do again?
because the cultural traditions here, people see our musical artists because they're out there and the profession by nature
Mm-hmm.
is self-expressive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, People can look at a painting and have their own value judgments about it, but it's more or less a tangible representation of what the person does.
Right.
Same thing with architecture. They know
Mm-hmm.
that the lawyer deals with cases, of course, the doctor, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always easy in a country without well, I shouldn't even say without a literary tradition because we do have one. It's just not extolled and really put out there the
Mm-hmm.
way that some of the other artistic and creative expressions have been.
Mm-hmm.
So people have a little bit of a challenge in trying to kind of, you know, people want to get you in their box.
Yeah.
But when you're in their
Yeah.
box, then they know how to relate to you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not always easy, and that's just par for the course that we deal with.
Mm-hmm. Cosmic. So what are your future plans for 2024? What have you had in your mind to say that you're going to set a goal for 2024 pertaining to whether it's cosmic levels, cosmic smack, your writing? Tell me what your vision is.
So, part of the vision, or at least the core of the vision, is really to just be more established and engaged.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we've done the publication thing with the poems.
Mm-hmm.
We've worked in the media capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Still do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, still available. Cosmic Media and PR.
Give him a call.
We get the contacts at the end. But what we really want to do is to broaden what we're doing now with this. Do it on a larger and more commercial scale.
Mm-hmm.
We want to do full fledged features,
Mm-hmm.
documentaries. I have actually, we didn't get to this either, worked on a couple of documentaries as a writer slash story consultant in an unofficial capacity. We did an excellent documentary called The Bonds of Promised Land. You can
Mm-hmm.
find it on YouTube, The
Yep.
Bonds of Promised Land, which looked at the history of Chinese migration to Jamaica,
Mm-hmm.
the indentured service coming right up to the present and so on. And if I do say so myself,
It was awesome.
there you go.
Trust me. So go look,
Yeah.
please.
We did a second one looking at the history of the Jews in Jamaica.
Mhm.
But for various reasons, which I can't go into right now, that one, though completed, has not yet really been shown. And we've also done some mini productions for a couple of corporate entities. We did one for Alliance Investments for their 20th anniversary.
Mhm.
And we've done a number of other smaller things for the Jamaica Stock Exchange and
Mhm.
a couple of other entities. So what we want to do is to have more of that,
Okay.
to be bigger and better, and to be doing things on a international level, BBC type,
Mhm.
Netflix kind of order of magnitude.
So okay, so we're gonna backtrack a little bit.
Yes,
I want you to tell us about, or tell everyone in Cosmic Land,
it's all us.
it's all us, your books on Amazon. You said you had 13. Well, I know that he has 13, but your 13 books. Could you give us a little idea of the title of the books
Yeah,
and
sure.
what inspired you? You don't have to go through all 13,
No.
but your most favorite books and what inspired you to write.
Okay, so the first things that I ever really wrote, as in like dedicated myself to writing, were poems.
Hmm.
Going back, well, latter part of high school,
Okay.
I really got interested in doing that.
Hmm.
Didn't actually publish anything though until 2014. Well, I tell a lie. I published in the Gleaner, the Sunday Gleaner has that feature. I think they still do have the page where you publish
I think
poems
so,
that are
yeah.
submitted. Yeah,
Hmm.
and I got a few in there. And also, while I was working at Air Jamaica,
Hmm.
there's a local, well, I shouldn't say local, internal newsletter again that used to accept submissions,
Hmm.
even with the different stories that they were covering about the staff and so on. So I had a couple of poems in there too. Um, the book thing came about because I had recently become a father for what would have been the third time out of four. And my son then was approaching the 3 month stage. And I was kind of just looking at his development and I was thinking, "Eh, what what does this really mean for me where I'm at right now?"
Hmm.
I was also getting close to my birthday. I mean, this was a couple months on.
Hmm.
And so I kind of set myself a challenge. I was actually sitting in the transport center and I saw a lady with a bag of mangoes in a plastic bag, which is not all that common, but you know, you see it.
It's there.
And I set myself a challenge. I was like, okay, I moved by seeing this lady who looks somewhere closer to my age and will be used to just having mangoes all gathered up rather than in the plastic.
Hmm.
If I can write a poem about her, and maybe if I can write one a day thereafter, I might have a book in time for my birthday. And I did it. I actually did complete the draft.
Nice.
So then it was a matter of converting it to a book.
Hmm.
And we got it out, and I called it Turbo Donkey Cart. So that's the title of the first
Ah,
collection. Reason being,
I didn't know this, by the way. I'm just
the
saying.
paradox that is suggested is that in some ways we in Jamaica kind of have a sort of very developed lifestyle
Mm-hmm.
with latest in technology
Mm.
and cars and blah blah blah. But again, I am old enough to remember when even on our main roads you could actually see motor cars jostling for space with donkey carts,
Mm-hmm.
donkey drawn carts with whether it's
I remember
grass or
those, believe
coal
it
or
or not.
whatever the hell it
Yeah,
was. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah,
So
yeah.
it was that kind of paradox to me and that little bit of nostalgia that really informed that collection,
Mm-hmm.
which you can still get on Amazon. Um, Michael A.D. Edwards. And from there, we just kind of kept it going. We did maybe one every other year. Well, no, we did probably two by 2016. And then life happened, and then a particular development. And I was very depressed. And I really didn't write much for quite a while until late one November evening in about 2017. I met this lady. Yeah, as you can tell, it was one of those kind of things. Well, I shouldn't say we met because we had met before.
Right.
Yeah, that's a
Right.
whole other
That's
story.
another. That's
That's
a
a
whole.
part two. That's part two. And when I switch it and do her, then we can
Oh
talk
my
about.
gosh.
Yeah. So, beginning around 2017, I started writing again, and from that point onward, I did roughly one or two a year up until about
This
20.
year.
Well, about yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, during the pandemic year, it kind of slowed a bit too.
Right.
But I was able to kind of keep them coming because I just found myself being so inspired, you know, and we were able to get up to the point where I now have 13 published titles.
Wonderful.
Um, Several of them are unfortunately Kindle only because I'm such a tech doob, dweeb, dummy
No, it's
that
not.
it was difficult to get the paperback thing going on Amazon. It's a little bit time consuming,
Amazon is
and
a
I'm
little.
impatient.
Yeah, Amazon. You have to
Yeah.
have patience to work with
So
Amazon. So.
some of them are Kindle only, but quite a few of them are available in dual format. So again, check them out.
Check them out.
Um, See what you think, and that really is all I've said about that.
Cosmic, thank you for taking the time.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen in Cosmic Land, this was Cosmic, Michael A.D. Edwards, writer, director. Yes, he has directed a few things. He did not say that, but we'll get to that in part two. Um, this gentleman here, he's an inspiration. He has so much talent. I'm not just saying that because I'm married to the guy, but he has so much talent in those fingers and in his mind that it's it's really amazing to see what he produces. And then there are going to be one or two of you out there, and I won't hide it. You will read a piece and you'll be like, huh? But when you read it over and over and then you realize what he's saying, you go, damn. That's deep. And that's the type of writing he does, and he's an inspiration to many, especially to me. And I want to thank you for taking the time to opening up yourself to everyone. Cosmic, it was he's an idiot. Thank you. We'll come back to you again very soon in the new year.
We got lots of good interview subjects lined up. So please
Please
make
stay
sure you
tuned,
like, subscribe, and the usual, click the notification.
share, and
Those
all
things.
that
Yeah,
stuff.
all that.
And
And
so
look out.
yeah, and we want to wish you a very
Very Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and a Happy
And
New Year when it comes. Well, you'll see us very soon in the new year.
be safe. Peace.
Peace. Thank you.